When I was 16 years old, I remember walking the streets of the town with my mom, and I remember telling her all the time, Mom, I feel like I need to do something different. I feel like I need to do something great with my life. I don't know what it is yet. There's something that I have to say. There's something great that I need to do with my life. I didn't know what it was back then, but I felt it. I felt that fire. I felt that calling. I felt that itch within that I had to do something great, something meaningful with my life. And surely enough, I chose to follow it. But what no one told me back then was that when you choose to follow that vision, when you choose to follow that dream, you choose to become different. And you choose to walk a different path. And so you start to lose friends. You start being misunderstood. You are considered a fool by many. Strange, different. You get isolated. And that's because now you have the responsibility to turn what's invisible into visible, to turn your dream into reality, to turn what no one else can see into something that everyone can see. And all of a sudden you're left alone. It's just you, your vision, and this desert that you have to walk, and you have the responsibility to get to the destination. And there are many things that you need to endure in order to make that happen. Hey everybody, my name is Giuseppe, by the way, and I'm starting this YouTube channel because I've realized that I don't really know myself as well as I thought I did. I believe that I was quite self-aware. I believe that I was in touch with my emotions, but since I decided to quit a stable life to chase something more meaningful, I've realized that I've got a lot to learn about myself still. And so this is just me documenting that process, all the emotions, all the doubts, all the patterns that I go through, and all the lessons that come from living a meaningful life, living a life that I consciously chose to design. And so if you're also chasing the same kind of thing, if you're also chasing a meaningful life and you're chasing a dream, and in the process of it all, you're finding out more about yourself, and this is changing you in uncomfortable ways, then you're not alone, and this channel is for you. What is ambition? What is being driven? Today, I wanted to discuss the topic of ambition, and I wanted to talk about the curse of being driven, which you will find out at the end of this video that is not a curse whatsoever. But it is something hard, it is something rare, it is something special that not everyone can take on. Being ambitious, being driven, having a strong sense of mission, of purpose is not for everybody. You need to have something special within in order to turn something invisible into visible, in order to turn a vision into reality, in order to live your wildest dreams. And I got inspired by this because I've been living this life for a while. I have been living the life of someone who's chasing something, someone who had a strong desire, someone who had a strong passion and wanted to turn that into reality. And I'm learning a lot about myself, about life, about people most importantly. And that's what I wanted to share with you. I wanted to share the lessons that I've learned on the journey to chasing a dream and what that entails when you choose to become a person who's going after something that has got true meaning. The lessons that I've learned so far and some suggestions on how to go through this journey in a smoother way, because there are a lot of things that change when you choose to change, when you choose to be different. Because let's be honest, it's not for everybody to have a dream. You know, many people can say they have a dream, but only a very little bunch of them can brag the courage to wanting to follow it, to wanting to make it happen. And so let's start off with this fire, this itch that I used to call it. What is the itch? What is the fire within that so many people have, but that very few of them choose to follow it? And I want to share with you a story of when I was 16 years old. And I used to live in the north of Italy, in Udine. And, I was only just finishing my football journey. I was wrapping it up after a long time of, getting injured and, not making it into football. And I was exploring different possibilities. And I got into reading a couple of years before. And that opened up a universe for me. And, the act of reading, the act of getting into this, beautiful stories just made me feel like I was supposed to do something great with my life too. I could do something meaningful with my life, even if it wasn't football. And so I remember walking the streets of this town, in the center of this town with my mom. And we used to walk literally close to one another, and it was so cold, and we were all wrapped up in scarves and jackets, and I used to tell her all the time, Mom, I feel like I have something to do in my life, that something great, something special. I have it within me. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to label it. I don't know how to name it. I need to do something. I know I need to do something. I didn't know what it was back then, but I had that voice, that whisper, that itch. I remember that listening to a podcast where they called it an itch, because it is an itch. It's something that you wake up with every day, and it's the back of your mind just telling you, don't waste your time. Follow me. This voice is telling you, follow me. And surely enough, I chose to follow it. And I chose to leave, and I went to London. And that's when my journey started, when the inner journey started, which then eventually led to the outer journey of starting to craft something meaningful for myself, wanting to create a life that has got meaning, wanting to create, financial stability, financial freedom, etc. And so that is the voice, that is the fire that 95% of people feel when they're young, but also 95% of people choose to discard. And that 5% of people who choose to follow it, they choose to become different, they choose to live a different life. And they choose to embark on a journey that is going to require a lot of courage, a lot of tenacity, a lot of passion, and a lot of stamina to pursue, to follow. And when you choose to follow that dream, you also choose to explore yourself, because that's what it is. When you have a dream, you go into the most unexplored parts of yourself. And so you go to question your ability, you go to question your own skills, because obviously having a dream is one thing. Choosing to follow a dream exposes you, because now you're playing, now you're on court, you're on the pitch, and you have the responsibility to show your skills, to showcase what you have in order to attain that goal, right? And so you're exposed. Your weaknesses are exposed, your doubts are exposed, your flaws are exposed, and it's you judging yourself all the time. And what that creates something that everyone knows as the imposter syndrome. That follows, successful people at all different stages. But what's worse is that when you are chasing a dream, that fear of not being good enough is always with you. And that's one of the main demons that you have to slay along the way. The fear of not being good enough. This thought that is constantly telling you that maybe you're not cut for this. You're not really supposed to be living this life, because now it's just you and this dream that you have to attain. And I like to use this metaphor of The Alchemist. I don't know if you read the book The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, but there's this young guy who chooses to follow this vision that he had in his dreams, and he's just him in the desert, and everyone is just abandoned him, and it's just him and his sheep, and this vision that he needs to turn into reality. And that's what it is when you are choosing to pursue a dream, to live your dream. Then you are left in the desert. It's just you and a vision that you don't know what it is, you don't know where the destination is, you don't know how long it's going to take, you don't even know if it's real. You're gambling everything on yourself, and that's what makes you so special. And so you have the responsibility to make it happen. And what that does, it makes you isolate yourself. It does lead you to a stage of isolation. That's because you chose to live, to walk a different path, to walk a different life. And so you have to deal with that too. The being different, the feeling different, the fact that it's now just you with the path ahead. And you claimed that you have this dream, and now you have to make it happen. And so everyone will just look at you, and they will take you as a fool. They will take you as someone who's chasing phantoms, ghosts. And it's not easy to deal with the feeling of being different. And if beforehand, when we claim that we want to pursue a certain lifestyle, is so fascinating to say, I want to move to that city, to that country because I have a dream. When you are in it, and now all of a sudden the doors behind you shut, it becomes annoying to be on your own. It becomes annoying to feel like no one's really supporting me. No one's really got my back now that I chose to walk my talk. And so what I've personally experienced is this feeling of being taken as a fool many, many times, and is something that I can see in most of the people who are successful in what they do, and they have made it exactly where they wanted to make it, and they explain this season as the hardest season. That's because you are outgrowing your old skin as a snake, and you are leaving behind everything that is old, right? And so literally you are leaving everything behind, everyone behind. And all the people who used to know the old you will not really appreciate the new you. That will make you feel stupid. That will make you feel selfish. And I'll tell you this story of my ex-girlfriend. When I started my very first small business, I was told many times that I was selfish. I was told many times that having a routine, having a healthy routine of me wanting to work out, read books, get on my laptop and do my work was selfish. Not only selfish, but was also foolish, because I was financially unstable, because I was chasing just these fairy tales, you know. And that was my partner at the time, and she had been with me already a couple of years. And so what I'm trying to say here is that the moment all of this becomes reality for you, the moment people choose to follow that voice, the moment they actually put in the work, and I'm not saying 1 week, I'm saying years, I'm saying months and years of being on this path every day, everyone will just try to completely shatter you and make you crumble. And that's because they don't really like the idea of you being different, because they are used to a different idea of you in their minds. And so they will try to make you sway. And so you have to accept that you will have to outgrow most relationships. You will have to outgrow your old life. And like Alex Hormozy says, that your new life will cost you your old one. Your new you will cost you the old you. Your new habits will cost you the old habits. If you're trying to get something you never had, you have to be willing to do something you have never done. And that is the core essence of this video, is you have to be willing to sacrifice your old life if you are trying to attain a new life. And that's why I bring back the metaphor of a desert. And that's because really and truly, you choose to walk in a desert, because when you are after a treasure, you are after something that is not visible. You can only feel it being real within you. And so all the people that are walking with you, imagine you being in the desert and all these people behind you telling you that there's no treasure. The treasure is where you can see it, is a stable job, security, is a routine, is an employer that gives you a paycheck every month. That's the treasure, something that everyone can see. There's no hidden treasure for those people. The hidden treasure is only within your mind and soul, and you have the responsibility to find it. And so the only way to find it is to let those people go, is to let the old life go and continue walking on your own. And that's why it takes discipline. It takes discipline, because the discipline crafts your routine. Why the most successful people have routines, have habits, of fixed days, and that's because it takes that discipline, it takes that structured behavior in order to attain something that is so hard to attain. So discipline helps you walk flawlessly. The discipline helps you stay on track. Sometimes it gets boring, sometimes, you know, it can get frustrating to be on a journey where you never know when it's going to end, really and truly. But doesn't it get boring to work for an employer every day? Doesn't it get boring to put through the same transactions every day? Doesn't it get boring to call the same numbers every day, or different numbers saying the same things over and over again every day? Doesn't it get boring to send the same emails to the same marketing companies every day? Doesn't it get boring to drive the van and drop the same parcels at the same spots every day? So you have to be willing to stay different. You have to be willing to stay different for a long period of time. You have to be willing to feel different to the other people, and you have to be willing, like I said, to outgrow a lot of relationships and a lot of habits and a lot of different realities you are used to. And is it worth it? The question that comes to mind after everything I said is it worth it? Well, it's always worth it if it's got meaning. It's always worth it if behind everything that you do, there's love, there's passion, there's beauty, there's purpose. And to wrap it up, I have this quote from Leila Hormozy that goes, doing business is hard, so is being broke, so is working for a shitty boss. Pick your hard. And what that means is that everything in life is hard. Everything in life, every path we choose to walk eventually gets hard, gets boring, gets repetitive. You just have to be aware to pick your heart. In my opinion, when you pick a path that is hard, but that's got meaning, that's got beauty, that's got purpose, a path that reflects you, then it doesn't matter how hard it is, it doesn't matter how long it takes, it doesn't matter how many people you lose behind. That's because you're gonna get to a place where you find everything you need, everything that is meant for you, everyone that is meant for you. The choice lies always with you. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you like. As always, my people, take care of your emotions, and I'll see you in the next video.